Becoming a parent for the first time can, of course, be daunting. For all the joy and wonder, the experience can leave you feeling isolated and questioning your every move as you adjust to life with this new being. Author Jovita Bydłowska had problems with alcohol, but she'd been sober for 3 years when she had her son. But then, while celebrating his birth with friends, she fell off the wagon. And what ensued was her life as a drunk mom, as detailed in her new memoir of the same name. And Jovita Bydłowska joins us now in studio, and it's great to meet you.
Good to be here.
Okay, I can't think of a better way to start this interview than to just have you set the table by reading just half a page of what you wrote, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Sounds good.
Here we go.
This is from a chapter called I'm a Drunk. Oh, in case you're wondering, I'm not a cocaine addict. I prefer to drink. You found me in the middle of my story, and I happen to have just found a bag of cocaine in that bathroom, but honestly, I prefer drinking. I prefer drinking to anything in the world. Sex, food, sleep. My child, my lover, anything. I love to drink. Sometimes I think, no, I am drink. It's like my blood. Even before I get it, I can feel it in my veins. I'm not being poetic. I can actually feel it in my veins. It's gold. It's like little zaps of gold going through me, charging me, starting me up. When I drink, I fill with real gold and become godlike. So I'm not a cocaine addict. I'm a drunk. I have been drunk for a long time. I stopped drinking for a time, and then I started again.
And that's where we're going to pick up the narrative. Can you help us understand the intense compulsion you had to drink?
I can. I mean, that's what the book is about. I'm trying to, to help the reader who's not familiar with addiction to make him or her understand. The only way to compare it is that, when I became a mom and when I relapsed, I felt this overwhelming euphoric love for my child, and that was no match for my cravings. And till this day, I'm baffled as to why it was that way. But it felt, I just had to do it. I just had to do it. There was no way for me to not do it.
Do you have any added insight as to why the bottle won the competition between the bottle and motherhood?
Well, I mean, I'd like to say there was no competition because I tried to do both, and it was extremely hard to juggle. And of course, I wasn't entirely successful, and I certainly. My alcoholism didn't really add to my, being a new mom. But why did it win? I don't know. It's something that really baffles me. And I know that as an addict, once I have one drink, and my substance is alcohol. But once I have one drink, that's it. I do not understand how to drink socially. I do not understand how to drink to just, add it with your dinner or just to have a little buzz. Like, I always have to go sort of beyond that, and I don't really know how to stop, or my body doesn't know how to stop.
How old were you when you first realized this was a problem?
Around 27, my late 20s, and that was the first time when I got sober, and that was, when things there started to be a common denominator between things that were happening in my life that were not so, that were tragic things. So, losing relationships, losing a job, being threatened with losing my apartment, things like that. So that sort of added up to me, sitting there and going like, actually, I think I know, what the common denominator is, and in my case, it was alcohol.
I have to say, you came over here, 20 years ago from Poland?
Mm-hmm.
And you spoke no English in Poland?
Mm-hmm. No.
So all the English you are speaking today, you've learned since coming to Canada at the age of?
15.
15.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Good for you.
I just dated myself.
Well, that's okay.
That's all right.
That's okay. I think it's, what they say is that if you, if you learn the new language before you're 12, I think you're not likely to have an accent. But learning it after 12, it's really difficult, I'm told. But here you are. You've done it very well. You compared the comparison of blackouts when you drank to death. What's that about?
I think because blackouts are so hard to explain to someone who doesn't have them. I mean, it is passing out, but also there's no thought, there's no dreams. It's not like you're going somewhere happy or unhappy. Really, you are completely unplugged from life. And my understanding, I mean, I don't know what happens after you die, but my understanding is that, there's nothing. And so it's total absence of anything, and no memory, of what had happened, so.
And why did you decide to write about this particular relapse related to the birth of your child?
Because I feel that, my addiction got so dangerous and so deadly, and a lot of addicts are alone. A lot of addicts end up alone. They end up losing their families and their jobs, and some end up on the street, some end up dead. And I found that I still had my family, I still have my place, I worked the same job, but I was going toward that ending that I didn't know what it would be. I certainly thought of ending it all. I had very dark thoughts. And so I thought writing this book, I would show how dangerously close an addict can come to that, to that terrible end, and also how, love of a child and family is no match for addiction. So, I mean, I wanted to certainly expose the very ugly side of addiction.
How close did you come to taking your own life?
In my thoughts, I mean, I never formed, an actual thought that I'm going to end it. I mean, I talk in a book about, just wanting this relief from this obsession that I had. I talk about oncoming subways, how, I wanted to, I didn't think of jumping, but I wanted to, maybe I should do something just to get this relief from this obsession. So it wasn't really that I had formed a plan, but it was that I internally felt like that was an option. And I think that's really dangerous, and I think that's that's where you start hitting bottom.
Do you know why you loved alcohol so much?
I don't know. I mean, there's a chapter in my book where I talk about, it's called The Archaeology of Addiction, and I give a bunch of reasons. I haven't counted them. I don't know how many, but I think everyone's different. I know I'm a fan of Dr. Gabor Mate. He talks about painful childhood and childhood experiences, and I believe that that's true for some. I don't know for all. I mean,
so you grew up in communist Poland.
I did, yes.
Which may have had some relationship to this?
Maybe. I mean, subconscious. Maybe I was somewhat traumatized by this. But my sister grew up in a very same environment, and she has no problems with alcohol. She has no problems with addiction. So there goes that theory.
I guess the stereotypical explanation is you drink to escape. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, with motherhood, maybe it was about that. Maybe I was overwhelmed. Maybe it was a new situation. I worked full time. My identity was very tied with my writing and with my job. And then suddenly I was in this new environment with a new baby, isolated and certainly isolating myself. And who knows? Maybe I used alcohol to escape from that as well, to get a little break. That sort of thing.
If at any time in the course of this interview I ask you something that's too personal, even though the book is very personal, I have to tell you, you feel free not to answer.
Okay.
But was the baby planned?
No, the baby was not planned.
So maybe that had something to do with it.
No, but I really wanted him. I mean, as soon as I found out, there was no debate. There was not like, let's see if there are other options. Absolutely not. So in that way, he was definitely planned and expected.
So much for my great theory.
Yes.
Okay. Now you were clean and sober for how many years?
Right now?
No, before.
Oh, before.
Before you started.
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Yeah.
So 3.5 years you're clean and sober, and do you have any insight as to why you started again?
Yeah, and I think it was feeling normal is what sort of started it off. So, I talk about it in a book, and what happened is I had my child, and we had some friends over. We were celebrating. Someone brought champagne and other alcohol, and someone handed me a glass of champagne, and I took it, and I don't remember having a thought, conscious thought, but I know that I thought, why not? I mean, I'm just like everyone else. Everyone else is drinking, there's nothing different about me. So I let myself to believe that I could drink and be okay with it. So.
But not so.
No.
Your friends, did they know that you had a problem with alcohol?
No.
They did not know, because I'm thinking to myself as I'm reading that, why would they put a bottle of champagne in your hands?
No.
But they didn't know.
No, but you know, it was sort of chaos of a party too. So you know, there were friends who were familiar with my struggles with alcohol, and then friends who who didn't know. There are many people in my life that had no idea that that I had been sober or drunk or anything. You
Yeah,
know?
that's common.
Yeah,
That's common with
yeah.
alcoholics. Do you remember the moment where you said to yourself, I am in trouble and I got to get help?
Yes, I think that moment. It's interesting because I think a huge part of addiction is denial. So there's this sort of double think, where there's part of me that sort of screams an alarm. I mean, as soon as I had a blackout where where I was left alone with the baby, and I still feel guilt and shame over that. And my partner came home, and there I was, passed out on the floor. I mean, that's absolutely terrible. And I think a lot of, people would step back and be like, "Come on, like this is you gotta do something." But I also remember at that time sort of saying to myself, it's not that serious. It was just a one-off. So I realized, early on, but I don't think it became sort of, red alarms flashing right in my face until I had those thoughts about, having another way out of it. So
I'm not going to be the first person to tell you this, but this book is brutally honest, as you no doubt intended it to be. And kudos for you for not sugarcoating any of this. I mean, you've told the story warts and all. But I wonder whether you had any moments where you thought, I got to censor this a little bit because I'm making myself look horrible in my own story. That ever occur to you?
certainly, everyone has a desire to be liked and to be appreciated, and I didn't set out to. What I try to do is, it is a memoir, but it's also a work of nonfiction. So what I wanted to do is almost, distance myself from the main character, that is me, and sort of do this, put this clinical, sharp, objective eye onto this person that I was for 11 months. And that entailed, being brutally honest and not putting myself in this, sanitized, happy, satisfying light, where I didn't have trouble writing this book. Reading it back was very difficult because I had to really try not to edit myself and try not to sanitize and try not to paint a picture that that wasn't true. So.
But you just said this person. Do you get the sense that the person in this book is actually not you? It's a different person?
Well, you're making me sound as if I have dissociative personality disorder.
No, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I find that, in my sobriety, I'm a completely different person.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So as you read it back, what you've just said is actually more painful than writing it. Do you ever wonder, how the hell did I let that happen?
Sure, yeah, I do.
And what answers do you come up with?
The only answer is that I'm an addict. That's how it happened, and I am around addicts, sober and not, and it's an absolutely baffling condition. So I don't know.
Okay, writing it, reading it, and now talking about it, because you're on the media circuit right now. What's the hardest?
Reading it.
Reading it was harder,
Yeah.
even than talking about it now.
I'm glad to talk about it, and I'm glad that there's various reaction to it. I mean, because, I've primarily I'm a storyteller. I am a writer, so I tell stories. I told a story. But the second amazing part of it is that that I get to talk about issues of addiction, and people have a lot of problem with it. There were all kinds of reactions to the book and to this brutal honesty. But whatever the reaction, it's we do bring light onto the main issue, which is addiction. So.
How much of a gap was there between how you felt at being a new mother versus the expectations of what society thinks you should feel at being a new mother?
I don't know. I had this sort of idea of motherhood. It was kind of Disneyfied in my head. I mean, as society sort of sometimes shows it to us, we see all these commercials with happy, glowing babies and happy mom, and you know, it looks beautiful, and it is beautiful. It's quite beautiful.
But there's
you know?
way more
but
to
no
it
one
than
shows
that.
the poo, right?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
but so you know, so I guess I was naive about what it was going to be like, and I, you know, was I shocked into it? I'm not sure. I mean, people said, you know, it's going to be hard. You have no idea how hard it's going to be. It's going to be the most wonderful and the most horrible thing in your life. You know, a lot of parents say that.
Were they right?
I certainly agree, yes.
You certainly
but
agree.
But it is, I mean, I would not, you know, trade it for anything.
On your blog, I gather there are a lot of comments from people who write in and say, you know, I'm a drunk mom too, or I was a drunk mom too. So there's still a lot of stigma, I guess, around the need for new mothers to be perfect, right? What do we do about that?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say new mothers, new fathers as well, like new parents.
But it's more on mothers.
Yes, yes. I feel that, you know, this is good. Talking about it is good, and writing about it is good. And, you know, I was very fortunate to be able to write a couple magazine articles about this topic of expectation and you know, and motherhood. So that's where you need to go, is just talk about it more. And you know, and it's funny, I did one interview during this, you know, media blitz where someone said to me, you know, when we were young and, you know, when I had my children, we didn't talk about it. It was really hard, but we didn't talk about it, you know. So, and I thought, so that's interesting because, you know, you know, it's 2013 and we need to talk about things like that. So.
When she said we didn't talk about it, meaning we didn't talk about the dark
How
side of
difficult
motherhood.
it was, yeah. And, you know, and I don't know, women suffered in silence. I mean, that's, you know, that's, you sometimes hear it, but even now, you know, the older women are not really that happy to admit how difficult it was, right? And you also forget, so.
You can get into those conversations, though, I find. When you ask grandparents, for example, okay, motherhood, tell us really what it was like, and you push them and push them, the scarier stories start to come out.
Yeah.
You know Sarah Hampson.
I do, I've met her, yes.
You've met her. You talked to her for the Globe. Well, I guess, are you personal friends? You know each other? No. But you know each other a little bit. And she interviewed you in the Globe Mail a couple of weeks ago. And here's a little excerpt that I want to ask you about that she wrote. She wrote, "This is a memoir that pushes at boundaries. What is private, what should perhaps be kept private, what we need to know, what we don't, what is insightful, or just exhibitionism. It is already one of the most talked about books of the season. Bydwowska is very honest in her writing. Let me be as well then. There's self-harm in choosing to publish this memoir. It's just like alcoholism, the recklessness of it, the abandonment of responsibility to her partner, to their relationship, to her child, now almost 4, and also, most painfully, to herself." Okay, you've had a lot of fantastic reviews about this book, I have to say, and I read it, and it is an amazing read. But for those, such as Sarah, who say that there is too much exhibitionism in your story, in the telling of your story, how do you respond?
For the record, she said the book was amazing.
She did. Oh, that's quite true. She did like it.
I don't know. You know, again, it's an ugly story. It's not a pretty story. I'm a huge fan of Eat, Pray, Love, but it's not an Eat, Pray, Love story, you know. And like a lot of memoirs, like a lot of personal stories, it doesn't necessarily offer solutions, you know. It's not this is A, B, and C, and this is what you do in order to get better. Again, you know, that's someone's opinion. I mean, I don't believe that we need to keep ugly things private, because if we do, that's the whole thing about stigma. We re-stigmatize ourselves. You know, is it exhibitionistic? I mean, any personal story is. You know, whether it's about divorce or or alcoholism or new motherhood. I mean, but that's what we do as people. We tell stories, and we tell them to people because they're all about, you know, human condition, and it helps us to understand and fear less. You know, I've had some reaction as to, you know, how it's funny I'm bringing this up, and I told you not to ask me this, but what is my son gonna think when he's older? And you know, I think and I hope that he will live in a world where, you know, where this is not going to be a stigma or less of a stigma, where, you know, where people will have, you know, open hearts and will be able to discuss things like that, things that are private and that are painful. Part of, you know, why I stayed, you know, addicted, or why I was so, you know, what's the word? Why my alcoholism was so so out of control is because I was terrified of telling people. I was hiding it. You know, part of it was hiding. I mean, I was hiding from my partner. I was hiding from my sister. So these are the people closest to me who actually had no idea, really. I mean, how rampant it was. And I was certainly hiding it from my friends. So you asked me about my friends. None of my friends knew. You know, I mean, right now they're reading the book. They're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you." But I'm like, none of you knew because I was embarrassed and I was ashamed, and I didn't want to talk about what's private. Well, now I am talking about it. So.
And you know what? In that chair several months ago was a guy named Michael Bryant, who used to be Attorney General of Ontario, and a guy I've known for, well, I don't know, 15 years. And he wrote a memoir and confessed that he too was an alcoholic. And I tell you, I didn't have a clue either, and most people didn't. So this is not unique, your situation, in that regard. And I got to say, there were some lines you didn't cross. For example, you have not named your partner or your child in the book. So you are retaining some aspects of privacy. Presumably you did that on purpose, right? Okay.
Other people named them, though.
Other people did, but you didn't in the book, and so
Yes.
I won't hear.
Yeah.
I want to know why you made alcoholism, boy, this really gets complicated. Why did you make alcoholism the primary focus of the book when you have also acknowledged in the book that you suffer from bipolar disorder as well? Why no focus on that?
That's going to be another book. No, it's not. No. Because I think, unlike bipolar, which I have maintained, and I have good care, good, what do you call it?
Treatment?
Good treatment with that. I mean, and that's something I have under control. Unlike that, alcoholism is something that I truly believe that it would kill me sooner or later. You know, whether it would be through suicide or illness or an accident. I mean, so it's more immediate. I found it more urgent issue to talk about, and I don't really have a background in. I mean, I have an undergrad in psych, but I don't have a background in mental illness. But this was such a case study for me that I knew so well because it was about me that I felt like I want to write about this. So,
and what's the reaction been among close family members? You have siblings?
Yeah, I have a sister.
Sister,
Yeah.
parents?
Yes.
We know you have a significant other. You write about him in the book.
Yeah.
What do they all think of this?
They're all extremely supportive. And that was something that was very humbling, too, because I certainly, they all knew I was writing this memoir and publishing it. But there was no moment where, anyone said, don't do it. This is too embarrassing.
Really?
No.
No moment where they came to you and said, oh, do you have to include that?
No.
Really?
No.
I think that's unusual, don't you?
That's why, I've been saying I'm really lucky and I'm really humbled by this reaction. I mean, listen, I knew how hard it was for them. My sister, for example, said, it was so hard to read. She didn't actually want to talk about my book for a little while, but it was not like, don't do this, this is horrible. I mean, so, yeah.
In our last minute here, I'd like to finally ask you what you hope this memoir will add to the public dialogue around addiction.
Well, I mean, I hope there will be public dialogue. I hope that we will talk about it more. And I hope that media, instead of, sort of still seeing it as a dirty secret that we could, should keep private and not talked about, that they will talk about it some more, and that we will see it as, I mean, there's a belief. I don't necessarily subscribe that it's a disease, but I call it a condition. It's very similar to diabetes. I mean, it's something that that can be not cured, but can be maintained, like in terms of sobriety. So I hope that we're going to put more emphasis on that, on helping addicts and on finding ways to help them. I mean, I had an experience where where I was trying to look for help in mental health services, and the wait list was a year long to find an addiction specialist. I mean, I had a social worker that I could talk to, but that wasn't enough, So I'm hoping that, that we'll get more resources and more people that will be able to help addicts and families of addicts as well.
And sober how long now?
Sober, it's 3 years.
3 years sober now.
Yeah.
Continued success with that.
Thank you.
And with the book.
Thank you.
Drunk Mom, Jovita Bydłowska. We thank you for coming into TVO
Thank you
tonight.
for having me. Thank you.
Support Ontario's public television. Donate at tvo.org.